Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about fake friends, real friends, and how to find your tribe, so to speak. I had someone suggest to me to make this video, and I also have a couple clients who are going through the process of realizing that their current social group, their current friend group, um, doesn't really resonate with their needs. All right. I'm not an expert in this topic, but I have gone through my experiences of ultimately finding, a group of friends that I really, really connect with. But part of that journey was um, stepping away from groups of friends that really weren't in alignment with who I wanted to be for myself, what I wanted to do with my life, and the type of impact I wanted, friends to have on me, right? The first thing I'd say is um, it is common to be friends, be close, and then stop being friends, right? That doesn't mean you necessarily cut these people out of your life. It just means that either you grow apart or your interests differ. Um, and I won't go too much into, if you're like in a toxic family, but there will be tips or information in this video that's relevant to you. Okay, the best I can give you is my experience. All right, um, in college I had a bunch of friends. Right, I was in a fraternity, over 50 guys, and mind you, in college you're just surrounded with a bunch of people your age. Um, and those friendships, it turned out, were very surface based, and part of that is because I didn't really feel safe sharing. Right? I in college I was a shell of myself, and I wanted to be who I thought I needed to be, right? The cool guy, the funny guy, the party guy, right? And something I learned along the way was that there's a difference between people that you have fun with, or you party with, versus like people who are actually your friends. And not to say that you couldn't party with your true friends, but especially I know many of you are dealing with like smoking a lot. You might find yourself with groups of people who all you really connect with, like, if the weed wasn't there, would you guys still be friends? you know um and that's something I had to take a look at. And similar in a similar way, like, what when you really start to show up as who you really are, right? Caring about your life, being driven, having goals, talking about, deep topics, getting deep, getting real. Um, Take note if you'll find that either people will reciprocate that and resonate with that, or they won't. And I think one thing that I've learned recently is that it's okay, like, to not be friends with people, and okay to not be super close with people. And something you might have to accept is that the people you want to be friends with are not the people who are best to be your friends. And in a similar note, it's like, go where, and this is just something I've been doing, go where you're appreciated. Go where you feel seen. Go where you feel supported. Go where you're wanted. And there's a nuance there. It's not just about, where you're wanted, but go where, like, people appreciate you, where they value your time, where they value your energy, where being around them makes you happier, where it, right, raises your energy, where you're inspired, where you're motivated. Okay. um, and if you don't currently have a group of friends like that, first of all, it's okay. um, my advice to you, based on my experience, is to first just acknowledge, like, okay, I don't think this current group of friends are really like my power tribe, if you will. Right? They're cool, they're fun, we have history, but they're not growing in a similar direction as you, and that's okay. That's okay. Um, maybe hang out with them less, right? And then the next step is to just start to figure out, okay, what kinds of friends do I want? What kind of things do we do? What kind of stuff do we talk about? What values do we share, right? And so what my group of friends used to be like, right? And I wouldn't call them fake friends, so to speak, but they weren't my power tribe, right? And I have a bunch of friends, right? I have a bunch of friends, but only a select group do I call like my power tribe, so to speak, or just my inner circle, if you will. And so the goal is to have your inner circle be filled with people who you really trust, who really resonate with you on as many levels as possible. And then from there you kind of cascade out, right? So you have your inner circle, you have the next layer of friends who maybe are, you can go to them for this but not this, right? And then you have the next layer. And so play around with who you put in what layer, right? And what you might find is someone who was close they'll change or you'll change, and they'll go to the outer rings. And then someone on the outer ring starts to resonate with you, and then you bring them in, right? So it is our responsibility to dictate who gets placed in what circle. Okay. And then another thing, this is funny because I've supported a number of people with this process of, how do I find friends? How do I, and one thing is you got to take a look at the belief around that, right? A common belief is like, it's hard to meet people, right? Or, at this age, people already have their set group of friends. Okay, and the reality is that's not true. And so you gotta take on beliefs that support what you want, not limit it, right? And then from there, to be proactive about opportunities for friendship, opportunities for meeting people, opportunities for connection. And then from there, you might want to look at, okay, what are some, do you have any triggers about that? What are some limiting beliefs or emotions you have about that, right? Like, oh, I'm not good with people, right? Or I don't trust people. And so it turns out that, part of developing a group of friends that you really resonate with is also can oftentimes include you getting over certain things about yourself, right? You got to grow out of your shell a little bit. You got to let go of certain identities or certain disempowering beliefs, right? Things like it's hard to meet people or I'm not likable. And then in those limiting beliefs, you can start to dive deep. What's this really about? Where did this come from? Right? Where did these disempowering beliefs come from? Right? And then you can let them go. I'm not saying all this is easy. I'm just kind of, spewing out ideas and my experience on this topic. And maybe to simplify it all, it's like as you grow, if your intention is just to continue growing, consider that the right people will show up, right? If you just continue growing, right? People are drawn to people who are growing, and not as like a manipulative tactic, but that's just kind of how it goes. And so maybe to sum it up, if you find your current group of friends not really supporting you and your goals, then it's best to acknowledge that first of all, and to then hang out with them less and begin hanging out with people who do support you. And if you don't have people that you can turn to, right? If you don't have a group of people that you're like, okay, I want to start hanging out with them, then you just adopt the belief system that those kind of people are out there, and then be proactive about finding those opportunities and creating opportunities. And from there, you know, go for it. Go for it. Um, and so yeah, so I really do get it. You know, I've spent a good amount of years with a lot of surface-based friendships, right? Or I had, you know, jump from this group to that group to that group. Um, but at the end of the day, you know, you deserve a group of friends that you really resonate with and can be yourself with and can feel seen and understood and inspired, right? Where it's a lot of give and take and, you know, you're all growing together in the same direction, so to speak. And know that it's out there. Know that it's out there, guys. There are 7 billion people in the world. I think it's more than that. But there's more than enough people in this world to be a part of your inner circle and vice versa. All right. So that's it for today. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, 2021 Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Um, why don't we take a moment to maybe list out 3 things that we're grateful for, and specifically 3 things that money can't buy. Number one, you know, the family and friends that we have, especially the ones that we can confide in and that accept us for who we are and are patient with us, especially when we're being pieces of shit. All right, that's one. Number two, being alive, right? Like, you know, as long as we're alive, we have an opportunity to do something with our lives that bring us joy and fulfillment, right? Number three, um, something money can't buy. Hmm. Hmm, 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 hmm. Maybe general goodness, right? And I can acknowledge the evil that occurs in the world and the shittiness that occurs in the world, but there's also a lot of goodness. There's tons and tons of goodness, and so um, let's let's acknowledge and be thankful for the goodness out in the world. And hell, maybe we can also bring appreciation for the darkness, because sometimes that's part of it, man. Uh, some of the most valuable experiences in my life were because of the darkness. And so in that way the darkness serves the goodness. All right, but that's it. Appreciate you all, love you all. Hopefully this video found you well. And as always, wherever you're at is where you're meant to be. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Peace.